This is the guided note video for recognizing equations of lines. So the learning target is I can recognize when an equation is in slope-intercept form, standard form, or point-slope form. In order to be able to graph lines, we can't be intimidated by the form of the equation. As long as the variable in our equation has a power of 1, the graph will result in a line. There are only 3 forms of linear equations. Memorizing all 3 will be key. Okay, so these are our 3 forms. So in this video, basically all we're doing is learning how to identify when an equation is in one of these 3 main forms. Right? So the first equation, y equals mx plus b, whenever you hear that, you know it is in slope-intercept form. Okay, and when we are given something in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, m and b are going to be replaced by numbers. So we could plug in a 2 for m and a 1 for b. We could have a 3 over 2 for m and a negative 5 for b. It doesn't matter. Okay? So in slope-intercept form, the y is by itself. That is a telltale sign that a line is in slope-intercept form. So on this side of the equal sign, the y is completely alone. It's all by itself. There's nothing being added to it, subtracted, multiplied, or divided. Okay? All by itself. Okay? It turns out that this will probably be, in most people's opinion, the friendliest form that we deal with. Because when we graph lines, slope-intercept form requires no manipulation of the equation. Just by looking at it, we will be able to graph that line. I'm going to move on. Pause the video if you need more time. All right, the next form. ax plus by equals c. This is what we call standard form. Okay, and in standard form, a, b, and c are numbers. So just like in slope-intercept form where the m and the b were numbers, when an equation is in standard form, the a here, the b here, and the c will be replaced by numbers. So in standard form, the x and y are on the same side of the equal sign. So if we take a look up here, we've got the c over here all by itself. We've got the x and the y on the same side of the equal sign. So just by looking at it, you'll be able to tell when a linear equation is in standard form because the x and the y will be together. And on to the last form, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. We call this point-slope form. And in point-slope form, y1, m, and x1 will be replaced by numbers. So y1 will be a number, m will be a number, and x1 will be a number. In point-slope form, the y and x are on opposite sides of the equal sign, but the y is not alone. Okay? In this last part, but the y is not alone, is very important because if you go up and take a look at slope-intercept form, the y and x are also on opposite sides of the equal sign, but the y is alone. So you could replace this y1 with plus 4, minus 5, doesn't matter. Okay? If the y is not by itself over here, and the y is on the opposite side of the equal sign from the x, it will be in point-slope form. And another telltale sign that an equation could be in point-slope form are the parentheses here. Not all point-slope form equations will have parentheses, but typically it's very easy to tell if something is in point-slope form because it does have parentheses. So, my wisdom for you, remember these. We will discuss their differences later. Now it is time to move on to the example video for recognizing equations of lines.